Hello and welcome to this edition of Minstrels on the Block, where we bring you the finest singer-songwriters and performers in the Valley area. I'm your host, Brian Mallard, and this week's special guest is Krissy Andrews. Krissy?
Hi, Brian.
How you doing? Great to have you on the show.
Great to be here.
Tell me about yourself. Where were you born?
I was born in Columbus, Georgia. I lived all over little bitty towns way down South Alabama, and ended up back up here around junior high. I've been Smith Station pretty much my whole life.
Tell me a little bit about the differences between the Valley and some of the small towns that you lived in.
The small towns I lived in, well, they didn't have a Walmart. We didn't even have a Dollar General then. Some of them have, moved on up the ladder and have a Dollar General now. Everybody had cows. It's like pretty much like where we've actually just moved out to Fort Mitchell. And I was telling my husband the other day, it's a lot like where the places that I grew up, because you ride and drive, and all you see is grass and trees and cattle and horses, and so it's pretty much like here, but without the town parts, without the city life that we have here.
Now, tell me about your parents. What do they do?
My parents are pastors. They've been pastoring since I was in first grade. They're in another little small town now. They live in Ayrton, pastor in Opp, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
And, but they pastored here when I was younger. So that's pretty much all I've ever known.
Oh, that's cool.
Preacher's kid.
Now, were your parents musical at all?
They are. My parents are very musical. Actually, they, in addition to pastoring, they also travel and sing. They sing about as often as we do. They sing Southern gospel.
Very cool.
They're up here pretty often too, singing. They're all over the Southeast.
That's
singing
cool.
Again. So yeah.
So would you say that their musicality is where you picked it up from?
Musicality, I like that word. Definitely.
New word of the week, folks.
Absolutely. They're definitely to credit for that. I remember my mother sings constantly, from the time she gets up, time she goes to bed, singing, making up songs and and whatnot. My brother's a singer, drummer. My parents, but they both play a little bit of piano. My daddy plays guitar a little bit, mostly just sing. A lot of singing in the family.
So what were some of your early musical influences? What did you grow up listening to?
Southern gospel. That's about all that was
that
allowed.
wraps it up, folks.
That's about all that was allowed in the house was Southern gospel, and then contemporary Christian, and then I got older, and of course a lot of country, obvious influences, and I love rock and blues. I love Janis Joplin. I love all those artists that have those raspy, gritty voices that I can't mimic for the life of me. I have a huge appreciation for anybody that can sing a huge note with a lot of grit in their voice. But a lot of Southern gospel, a lot of just gospel, a lot of soul music too. I've kind of drawn influences from everywhere, but I've been going to Southern gospel singing since I was born. My mother sang both my parents sang in a gospel group while she was carrying me. So even, from the womb, that's all I've known is singing.
So now, at what point did you decide that you wanted to do music?
I don't remember a specific moment, saying, hey, I want to sing. But I remember always being that kid that was constantly singing. My poor parents, and I was kind of loud, so I would sit in the back seat of the car and sing in their ear every time. We'd go on these long road trips, and I would sing the whole time. And I know they were probably sitting up there rolling their eyes, but they never said anything. They always encouraged it. And I actually started singing in church when I was 4. I did my first song when I was 4 years old, and I've been singing ever since, just wherever, whenever, wherever somebody lets me on the stage.
So now, from singing, from absolute youth apparently, at what point did you decide that, hey, I think this is what I want to do?
very young, very young. I've pretty much always known that was what I wanted to do, and I think I maybe stopped looking at it as an option for a little while, maybe when I got older, because we get normal people jobs, and we have kids, and we get busy, and we just have a lot going on, and started really getting serious about it again probably about 10 years ago, and I was doing Southern gospel at the time, and then sort of worked into the country genre some, and it's something I've always wanted to do. I've never not wanted to do it. Right. It's just kind of been, how it is. We kind of have moments where we think, yeah, I can definitely do this, and then we have times where we think, well, I don't know, might not be able to really. But it's something it's always been a part of me. It's something that it's not something that I could really put a lid on and say, okay, never mind. Yeah. So I'm very blessed now that I am able to work and do what I love. I teach voice, so that's awesome. I think even better than performing and having a great show is seeing your students get up and perform and just blow it out the water. That it's like seeing your own children do something and really thrive and succeed. Yeah. There's really nothing better than that.
Now, do you write your own songs?
I do some. We haven't performed any of our originals. Tommy and I both have. We have a lot of stuff at home that we just haven't really. Some of it we've put music to. Some of it are just lyrics on a page that we haven't had a lot of time really to sit down and work a lot of it out. But that's definitely something that we want to come out pretty soon. Especially in some of our acoustic shows, we definitely want to present some of that.
Now, what kind of for people when you do break them out, what can people expect? What kind of songs do you write?
Well, just your typical country music. One of the things that I love about country music is that it's so real. It's just about where we live. It's about what we do, everyday life, things that we love, things that we appreciate, and our music reflects that. Reflects relationships, love that we have for each other and loved ones and that sort of thing. Some of them talk about our kids. Just everyday life, just things that we can relate to. Anybody, anywhere can relate to. There's nothing really, over the top to me about anything that we write. Everything's just it's stuff that we sit down and it's, okay, our day went like this, let's write this. Just very, very real.
Now, when did you write your first song?
Well,
because everybody has that first song,
I wrote my first song when I was probably about 8, and of course, presented it to my parents, and it was the best song in the world. Of course, it was. I needed a record deal right then. I should have been in Nashville, according to my parents. I don't know about anybody else's opinion, but but that's the first one that I remember writing. That I remember sitting down and actually putting on paper. Now, I always would walk through the house just making up things, making up lyrics, and it's funny because our 4-year-old does that, and of course his dad does it a lot too. But it's so funny because he walks around the house and he'll just be making up stuff, and I'm like, I actually have forgotten that I used to do that until I heard him doing that one day. I remember walking around the house doing that, and there were a couple that I actually did put on paper. One of them I actually sang in a church service one time, and of course, everybody loved it, but nobody wants to tell the preacher their kid did a horrible job, so I don't know. I don't know if they really liked it or if it was, they were just trying to appease.
So she did it, her child is doing it, it's in the blood, ladies and gentlemen. Music is in the DNA.
Yes.
Now it's time for the earth-shattering question that starts wars and certainly feuds. This is the controversial question of the show.
Now I'm nervous.
Elvis or the Beatles?
Oh, I have to choose one of those?
You have to choose one.
Oh, my word.
There's no easy else on this show, folks.
Oh, wow. I guess if I have to pick just one, it would, I guess I'd say Elvis, I guess. But I love them. I love them both. It kind of depends on what mood I'm in. I don't know. But Elvis was the king, so okay. And he was prettier than all the Beatles combined, so let's go with Elvis.
Another Elvis, folks. Thank you very much. Tell you what, let's check out one of Krissy's songs, and we'll be right back after this.
This is a little Jake Owen cover we're going to do for you. It's one of my favorites. Y'all probably know this and sing along at home. 8 Second Ride. He said, hey girl, what's your name? Haven't I seen you before? I recognize those dark green eyes when you walk through the door. He said, are you alone or are you with someone? I said, a matter of fact, I'm not. Then he took my hand, that's when it all began, and we headed toward the parking lot. And I said, hey boy, do you mind taking me home tonight? I ain't ever seen a country boy with tires on his truck this high. He said, come on up and honey, watch the cup. I'm spinning my dip inside. Hold on tight, cause it's gonna be wilder than any 8-second ride. We went riding around, rocking to the sound of a country boy can't survive. But I knew then he was my kind of man, cause he was singing every single line. So I slid on up and put my hand on his shoulder, and he asked me what I wanted to do. I said it really don't matter where we go, just as long as I'm riding with you. And I said, hey boy, do you mind taking me home tonight? Cause I ain't ever seen a country boy with tires on his truck this high. He said, come on up and honey, watch the cup. I'm spinning my dip inside. Hold on tight, cause it's gonna be wilder than any 8-second ride. So we headed out to Old Tobacco Road. With a tailgate down, we made love. I said a true country boy is hard to find, but I found one wilder than any 8-second ride. And I said, hey boy, do you mind taking me home tonight? Well, I ain't ever seen a country boy with tires on his truck this high. He said, come on up and honey, watch the cup. I'm spinning my dip inside. Hold on tight, cause it's gonna be wilder than any 8-second ride. Hold on tight, cause it's gonna be wilder than any 8-second ride.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest, Krissy Andrews. Now, Krissy, tell me a little bit, maybe leading up to and what you've got going on now.
Tommy and I have been doing a whole lot of acoustic stuff, and it's been really cool. Just kind of lay back and have everything stripped down, and you know, just kind of let it be about the music for a little bit. But right now, we've actually just really got the full band kicked off and going really strong. We've got some fantastic musicians that we're working with. I feel very, very blessed to have them on board. We actually debuted the band this past Saturday night, and I was much impressed with, in just a few rehearsals under the belt, and these guys really just nailed everything.
Wow. Good feeling.
It is. It's a great feeling. It's really good chemistry, and even though they are phenomenal musicians, I mean, without a doubt, I would say they're some of the best in town. Great guys, but more important than that, the chemistry is just wonderful. That's really important to me, because if I don't have a good time when I'm performing, then there's no point being up there. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
it's
totally.
just another job to me. And music is about passion. It's about doing what we love and, you know, living what we feel. So it's great to just have a great group of folks to work with. And I'm just feeling very blessed, very humbled to work with the ones I'm working with right now. We've got a lot of things coming up where we actually are booking. We still have some stuff left open, of course, you know, toward the later in the year, the fall, where we're booking pretty solid right now for the summer.
Great.
Things are looking good. We'll be at Pontoons in Fortune, Georgia next Friday night. The following weekend we will be at Railroads in Opelika, which I've never been to, so I'm pretty excited about gracing a new venue.
Oh yeah, that's all. Now, what are you doing more? The full band or the stripped down thing?
Well, we've been doing more acoustic, but now that the full band's really kicked off, we'll be doing probably a lot more of that, and still throw in acoustic shows now and then, because I definitely don't want to give that up, because it's just neat to do something different.
Yeah.
But being off the stage with because what we do is high energy country. It's very we have sort of a rock edge, and there's just a lot of energy, and if I'm not doing that, I miss it.
Yeah,
I miss being in all the energy. It's just really neat every once in a while to just strip everything down and just, you know, and whether that's with, you know, just one person or with 5 other people, sometimes it's just interesting to me to just let it be about the quality of the music, and sort of, yeah, because it's almost like you kind of get to sit back and listen when you're doing acoustic stuff, rather than, you know. But I definitely if I'm not in the middle of all the, you know, it's like an energy ball, you know, and it's like if I can't have a little bit of that, I feel like I'm just gonna explode. So we definitely will be doing a lot of full band stuff.
Very cool.
In full swing.
Now, speaking of full band, tell me about how your band, how all your co-players came together.
It's sort of here and there. Of course, you know, Tommy, my husband, he kind of has to play with me. He doesn't really have a choice. Well, he does, but he actually called some folks, and I called some folks, and we had just some different people that we had met through in the music business since we've been doing it. And then I actually had a couple of guys that we know through the local music scene that knew some other guys.
Right.
And made some phone calls. Yes, absolutely. And it's worked out really well. Actually, the guy who's playing drums for us, Brennan Tharp, we've actually both known him since junior high. Fantastic drummer. And then Rodney, who plays bass and keys, I had never met the guy before. And a friend of ours who was filling in on guitar said, "Well, you know, I know this guy, and he's really good." And you never know when somebody's if they're their friend, you never really know. So we brought him in at first rehearsal. Guy knew every note. Personality, just, you know, chemistry was great, and it's just been. He was a good find. I actually, you know, texted him a buddy and I said, "Thanks, guy's got mad skills." I mean, and I would have never known him had he not been suggested to us by someone, because he lives about an hour away. So absolutely networking and just personal.
And it's interesting because it's like Jack Snipe mentioned the other night at a Shadowville rehearsal, that it's not even so much getting a full band, but getting people getting the right people to play with.
Yes.
That even, you know, sometimes you might have somebody that's good, but may not quite gel, may not.
Right.
And then you get somebody else, and frequently somebody that you don't expect, who just like blends right in. It's amazing.
Yes.
Renegade has gone through so many different players, and some, you know, I've not called back.
It happens. That's absolutely true. It all goes back to just having a good time and just hanging out. I think the reason the majority of musicians do what we do is because we love it. We have a passion for music. We do it because it's what we choose. I mean, there's not they're not millions of dollars to be
Right,
made
yeah.
in the local music scene. We do it because we really
Yeah.
love what we do. And if you're going to pour your heart and soul into something, you want everybody on stage to do the same thing.
Right.
So that, you know, we finished Saturday night, and of course I was exhausted, but it was so great. It didn't feel like I had worked. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm going, and even though it is a job for us, it's something that I never want to leave a show and, you know, feeling like I didn't enjoy myself.
Right.
I'm going to give my all when I get on that stage. There's no question. I'm going to pour out every fiber of my being to, you know, try and put on a good show and to have a good time. And I definitely want that from my musicians, because that's when your audience, they're gonna give right back.
Yeah.
If you give to them, they're gonna give back to you. And somebody comes out and they pay to get in a door.
Yeah.
They buy food, they buy drinks, whatever. They come to see you. To me, they've earned that,
Yeah.
and they deserve your best. It's definitely why I want to surround myself with the best, you know. And whether they're a phenomenal musician or an okay musician, or it's got to be a good mix, a good mesh. You kind of got to have the same vision. And we're actually all from sort of different. We've got another preacher's kid, you know, that grew up in
cool.
Pentecostal church just like I did, and then, you know, we've got the sort of, we pick on him, we call him a hippie, our little reggae drummer, and he's fantastic. And then we've got, you know, the redneck girl here from way down South Alabama. So it's kind of, and it's neat to me how it meshes, because we all have a lot of influences from a lot of different genres, and it's just sort of it's just a really good mix.
Makes it really interesting.
It does.
Now, time for the college professor question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh.
Where would you like to be in 5 years?
Well, if you ask my husband, he'll tell you we'll have a big old farm, because I keep accumulating all these new pets. But as far as musically, I'm hoping to still be doing this, hoping to still be going strong, and hoping that we'll have our name out there a little bit more, because I think we haven't. A lot of people don't recognize the name of the band or whatever. Don't recognize Krissy Andrews, because I haven't done a lot under my name in the country genre. So it's to me, I'm interested to see where we can go, how far it'll take us. I definitely would love to, you know, play all over the Southeast. I'd like to definitely want to keep playing locally, because I mean, I love the people. I love it. I love going in a venue and it taking me, you know, my entire break between sets to get to the restroom and get back, or go, you know, get something to drink and get back, because I'm talking to everybody. I love it. I love the people. But I definitely would love to see us branching out more, being able to move across the Southeast or wherever, all over. Definitely want to see that happen.
Now, before we go to another of Krissy's songs, it's time for the list. We do the list every week, and this is an entertaining way to get to some more information. Let's just say you're walking around the house on a Sunday afternoon, you know, have a cold one in your hand, all this stuff, whatever. What are you most likely to be listening to on your wax cylinder, Victrola, 78, 33, 45, 8-track, cassette, CD, MP3 player, or otherwise music delivering device?
Oh my word. You know what, honestly, when I say I draw influences from everywhere, I'm not kidding. It could be anywhere from a show tune from like Les Miserables to Grease to Led Zeppelin to Miranda Lambert, Janis. I mean, really, I like every genre. I love hip hop, I love country, I love hard rock, I love indie music. So it honestly could be everything. It's funny, we'll be in the car sometimes and Tommy will just roll his eyes. He's like, really? You're listening to that? Because I like everything. I love music. I love everything about just music. And to me, every genre brings something. And sometimes I'll, for a whole day and a half, listen to nothing but rock. Sometimes I'll listen to blues, you know, and sometimes I'll have 50 songs on a playlist and I'll hit play while I'm cleaning house or whatever, and it'll be anything from, you know, Jay-Z to Blake Shelton to, you know, no telling.
Very
So
cool.
really, any kind. I'm sorry I can't narrow that down for you.
Oh,
but
no, that's fine. You know, I feel bad for people who only listen to one type of
Yeah.
music, you know, especially if you are a musician, because having a wide variety, we've covered this with numerous guests on this show, to where how important it is for people to be well-rounded as far as the music they
Absolutely.
listen to. And you know, whether or not I consider something music, it's still, if you get something from it as music, then there's just endless elements that can go in your own stuff. Tell you what, let's check out some more of Krissy's music, and we'll be right back after this.
This is one of my favorite Carrie Underwood tunes, and we're going to put our little acoustic spin on it, Blown Away. Dry lightning cracks across the sky. She heard those storm clouds hit rise.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest, Krissy Andrews. And this is the pimping section. This is the shameless self-promotion part of the show. So, Krissy, let's get in, and we've talked about some stuff throughout the show, but let's get in one area, everything that is pertinent to people coming to see you and buying your stuff.
Well, as far as what to expect, like I said, we're a high energy rocking group. We play anything from Hank Jr. to Little Led Zeppelin. We do. We're sort of all over the place. We love to have fun. If you come to a show, we definitely want you to be ready to have fun and rock out with us and just, sort of really upbeat, sort of happy stuff. They pick on me because I'm always saying that's a happy song. I love happy, feel good stuff. I want when somebody comes out to hear us to leave, feeling like they're on a high from the music. So.
Well, you can't have a party with sad songs. That's
right. That's pretty much. It's pretty much what you see is what you get. There's nothing, other than a lot of makeup. There's really nothing that's covered up or just everything's just kind of out there.
And where can they? Where are you playing? Where's your calendar of events in the near future so they can come see you?
We'll be at Pontoons next Friday night in Fortson, Georgia. It's like a 7:30 to 11:30, and kids can come there. Cool. It's a non-smoking venue. They do serve fantastic food. The following weekend we'll be at Railroads in Opelika. Is that the 13th and 14th? It's Friday and Saturday of the following weekend. I think it is and we'll be back at the Del Ranch and Smith Station August 2nd and 3rd, and we have several other things in the works that we're working on, nailing down specific dates. And you can check out my Facebook page, and we'll have a show schedule up. You can check me out on Reverb Nation. We'll have a show schedule there too.
Very cool. Now for a couple of questions I'd like to ask. One is, as a performer, singer, songwriter, or just the whole thing, what do you think of the local music scene in the Valley area? What is your take on it?
I think we've got a huge array of talent in the area. I think there are a lot of really talented local musicians, and I honestly wasn't even aware of all the talent here until I got more involved. I did a competition a few years back, and that was the first time I had really seen how much local talent we had. And Tommy and I left there the first day of the competition going, wow, I just really didn't know there were that many good singers and musicians and songwriters in the area. I think we've got a lot of great venues. We've got a lot of great club owners. I definitely think that from some aspects, there's a lot of really good camaraderie between the local musicians. Of course, you're always going to have, no matter what business you're in, you're going to have those that are trying to undercut others and trying to, always trying to be the top dog. But generally speaking, I really think there's a lot of great just musicianship here. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of, trying to help a brother out. Yeah. Just sort of. I think, for the most part, I've found most of the musicians here to just be really down to earth and just real about what they do. I love that a lot of different genres in the area tend to come together a lot and really work together. I've seen a lot of that, and to me, that's a huge deal, because it brings a lot to the table. Especially if you're doing an event that you want to draw more than just one type of crowd, more than just one specific. If you want to draw these 10 people, then okay, do just this music. But if you're doing a big city event, I think it's great the way I've seen a lot of people, a lot of venues put together and just pull from different genres and have a lot of different artists, types of artists. I think we've got a great music scene. I really do. I mean, we're not Atlanta, we're not Chicago, we're not Nashville. We're on a smaller scale, but I definitely think we've got some talent that's just as great as there are in any of the bigger places.
Now, speaking of the bigger places as opposed to this one, how do you think this local music scene could be improved?
Oh my! Don't ask me that. Just with anything, anywhere, more musician camaraderie, definitely. Be willing to help each other out, support each other. And obviously, we're all busy. We can't all go to each other's shows every weekend. I know for us, if it's hard for us to get out and hear other bands a lot of times because we're playing all the time, and if we're not playing, you don't want to leave your kids any more than you have to if you're already having to leave them. But just a moral support, just a general appreciation for other artists and other music, whether it's what you do and what you like, whether they're doing the same thing or doing something different. I think it's really important to be supportive, to support each other. Definitely not try to tear each other down. Just moral support. I don't know, like somebody's status or whatever.
Whatever you can do.
Whatever you can do. If you see a fellow musician out, shake their hand. Tell them doing a good job. That's because it means a lot. I think coming from other musicians, for somebody to say, you know what, I heard you the other night. You did a great job, or I heard you did a great job last night, or saw some of your stuff on YouTube. Man, you're doing great. Keep it up. Just a general support. I think anything can be improved that way.
Now, what advice would you give somewhere sitting out there in the audience to somebody who wants to be a musician or any kind of artist, and they could be in any area of the business, but what advice would you give to aspiring artists watching this show?
Don't get discouraged, no matter what. You're gonna have people say they're gonna call you back. They're not gonna call you back. You're gonna have doors shut in your face. You're going to have people that don't particularly like what you do. You're going to have people that don't like it because it's not their thing. You're going to have people that don't like it because they might feel threatened. But on the flip side of that, you're going to have a huge support from a fan base that you never even knew. That just shows up out of nowhere. That's kind of happened with us. I've been completely overwhelmed by the support that we've been shown. People that I don't even know. It's been really, really amazing. So definitely don't give up.
All
Just don't get discouraged. Don't worry about what anybody else says, what anybody thinks. Because if you're true to yourself, if you truly be yourself and do what you love, then it won't matter what anybody else says or thinks. And just keep going, because this is, there are a lot of great opportunities for artists here, and within a 75-mile radius of here, there are a lot of opportunities. You just gotta look for it. You gotta look and just give it your all. Pour out yourself when you play somewhere. Give it everything you got. Make your audience feel what you feel. Because to me, I think that's how you reach them. Is by one thing that I teach my students. I have several students who are already fantastic singers. And more than technical stuff, what I work with them on is artistry. And one of the main things that I tell them is, number one, always be yourself. Never try to be something you're not. I mean, sure, you're going to throw on stage clothes and stage makeup and that sort of thing, but always be yourself. Give it everything you've got. If you give your audience yourself, they're going to appreciate it. If you give it all you got when you're up there, they're going to give back to you.
Very cool. Well, Krissy, I appreciate you coming in and being on the show this morning. Hope you've enjoyed this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest Krissy Andrews. I'm your host, Brian Mallard, and we'll see you next time, only on CTV EA.
This is an old classic that I like to pull out by the Animals, House of the Rising Sun.
There's a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I want. My mama was a tailor. She sewed my new blue jeans, and my daddy was a gambling man way down in New Orleans. How the only thing a gambler needs is a suitcase with trunk. Oh, and the only time he's ever satisfied is when he's on a drunk. Oh, well, there is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I want. Now, mothers, go tell your children not to do